Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That'll be it for today. We've got to get to Mass. The Archbishop has invited us, and we're going to move on out. Thank you so much.
Anger and sadness of family members of the Uvalde school shooting victims and members of the community. This after a briefing by the Texas House Investigative Committee. The committee released a damning 77-page report today, finding what they say are multiple systemic failures. Our Rosa Flores was there. Rosa, are you hearing some of the family members of the victims? Obviously, they sounded frustrated after that press conference wrapped up. What are they telling you?
You know, there's so much outrage, Ryan, in this community. A lot of families very upset. They're demanding answers, and they're also demanding accountability. Now, I was able to talk to one of the fathers, one of the victims, on the sidelines. And let me set the scene for you, because actually the way that I met him first was he was having a very heated discussion with the mayor of this city, because he said that he was kicked out of the private meeting that both lawmakers and the city had with the victims' families earlier in the day. And so he was asking the mayor questions about why, if he was the father of one of the victims, why he was kicked out. Take a listen.
So I wasn't a parent where like, hey daughter, there's a birthday card and I'll see you next year. I wasn't that kind of parent. I have pictures with my daughter. I have tons of pictures in my phone. So who kicked me out of the meeting?
Do what?
Who kicked me out of the meeting?
He was police escorted out of
I was escorted out of the meeting.
I wasn't in there when you were escorted out.
Okay.
You didn't see me there.
So who made the list?
There was a list. This went out to the families.
Okay.
They made a list of the families that were coming to that meeting today.
Okay.
I don't have that list.
Okay.
What I told them, I would facilitate the legislature coming to speak to the families, because they helped me reach out and touch the families, and that's how it was left.
I told them I'm the father of one of the kids, and they said, well, you still got to go. You weren't on the list. And
it was actually the dean, Mr. Gonzalez, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, we meant no disrespect to you, but I didn't make that list.
Okay, so who did?
And the families gave the list to Hector Gonzalez at the junior college.
Okay, so Hector Gonzalez. There was a meeting at the college at 2:00, and that was for the families to. It was like a review of the investigation for the families directly, and so I went to go sit inside, and I was asked to get up and to leave because I wasn't welcome and I wasn't on the list, even though my daughter passed away. You know.
Tell us about your daughter.
She was just an awesome person. She was the light of my life, and she was all like me. You know, we had a special bond. You know, and it's all been hard, right? But then somebody telling you like, hey, you don't have rights to be here, that hurts even more. I have a document here that says I paid my financial duties. I visited with my child. I was her birth father. I don't have the birth certificate right now. It's public record though. Y'all can go get that. You know, so, you know, unfortunately, this is a state where sometimes moms get the upper hand, right? And sometimes other people lose sight of that. They only listen to one side of the story and not the other side, right? And that's what happened.
Now, Ryan, the question that I asked him after was what emotions were going through him as he was going through that earlier in the day, where he was kicked out of a meeting where he very rightfully wanted to be because he was the father of one of the victims, and he used one word. He said rage.
Let's break this down now with the founder of the Educators School Safety Network, Amy Klinger, and former Philadelphia Police Commissioner and CNN senior law enforcement analyst Charles Ramsey. Chief, let's start with you. This is just some of the ways the legislators described the law enforcement response. Multiple systemic failures, lackadaisical, void of leadership. These are not the kind of things you want to hear when nearly 400 law enforcement officers descend on an active shooter situation. As someone who worked for a long time in law enforcement, how can you explain this?
Well, you can't explain it. I mean, it was a total failure at a lot of different levels. There's no question about that. Just the fact that you got 300 or 400 police officers show up at a scene, I mean, that's a problem in and of itself. You can actually have too many people respond you know, you need the people there that have specific roles and responsibilities. So, you know, when you set up incident command, you have to deal with what's going on inside the building, but also control what's happening outside. And clearly there was no leadership at all, no incident command set up or unified command set up. You had a variety of agencies responding. Apparently nobody knew what was expected of them, what to do. No tactical planning to make entry into that classroom until after 70 some odd minutes had passed. So it's just one thing after the other, all bad.
Yeah. So, Amy, in that press conference last hour, we heard one of the Texas state lawmakers say that Robb Elementary was not adequately prepared for the risk of a school shooter. From your perspective, what security lapses stood out?
Well, I think it's really important that we look at it's not enough to just write down a policy that says, oh, we're going to lock this door. You have to do it. You have to make sure that people are trained, that they understand the rationale for why we're doing these things, that they understand the importance, that we hold them accountable. If they don't do those things, the number one mission is to keep kids safe. And you can't just write it down and say that's good enough. You have to live it every single day, and not just for an active shooter, for any of the myriad of threats that schools face. It needs to go far beyond just talking about active shooter, but talking about what do we do every single day in schools, whether there's law enforcement present or not.
Should this be a wake-up call for schools across the country, Amy? I mean, I think our natural instinct is to think, well, it's not going to happen in my backyard. But really, any of us could be vulnerable to something like this. You know, how important is it for educators, administrators, teachers across the country as we, prepare to go back to school to make sure they do simple things like making sure that doors lock properly and other things? I mean, what should school officials be doing right now to prepare for the upcoming school year?
It is the most important thing. And I don't know how many more wake-up calls we can get. I think the problem is we fixate on an active shooter event as the only school safety issue that there is, because clearly we see the horrific consequences when we're not adequately prepared. But every school faces a crisis event, whether it's a medical emergency or an accident or a non-custodial parent. And if we don't expand the capability of school people and provide them with training and resources to respond, you're just going to live these nightmares over and over and over until you have actually trained and empowered the people who are going to be faced with these incidents first. They are the first responders.
So, Chief Ramsey, the report also couldn't definitively answer if the classroom door was ever locked because nobody on the scene actually tried the handle. I mean, that seems like basic police work. Shouldn't they have been doing everything they possibly could to get into that room?
Absolutely. There's no question about that. I mean, and that's consistent with the training. I mean, since Columbine and Virginia Tech, training has changed. It used to be contain, wait for SWAT. Now it's first officers on the scene. You go to the sound of gunshots, you neutralize the shooter, period. Now, the first officers that arrived did that. I mean, they went to the door, they went toward the gunfire. But when they got fired upon, they retreated, which is understandable. But rather than regroup, and there was about 6 or 7 officers in the hallway at the time, regroup to go back down, come up with a tactical plan. Nobody did anything for another 70 minutes or so. And that's just totally unacceptable. You have to have some kind of tactical plan put together, do it quickly, create a diversion, find a way to get into that classroom, whether it's, doors unlocked, whether you have to use a tool to be able to pry the door open, whatever it is you have to do. But you've got people seriously injured. You've got people that are bleeding and they got to get the medical attention as quickly as possible. So you got to do what you have to do.
And Chief, the Texas officials behind this report really took some of the officers to task. Let's listen to a little bit of that.
The officers who knew or should have known that this was an active shooter situation by their training experience should have done more. We are very clear on that.
The report says if you're not willing to put the lives of the people you serve, of those children before your own, in my view, you should find another job.
At this point, there haven't been too many of these officers that have been taken to task. The acting chief of the Uvalde Police Department on that day has been placed on administrative leave. But Chief, do you expect to see suspensions, even possibly firings as this investigation goes forward?
I really do, and I think there should be. I mean, listen, when you become a police officer, you realize that you may be called upon to put your own life at risk in order to protect others. I mean, that's part of the job. And hopefully that situation never comes up, but if it does, you have to step up. You have to do what it is that you have to do. If you can't do that, then you have chosen the wrong profession to be in. I mean, I've been in shootings. I've been fired upon. I mean, it's not a good feeling, but you have to do what you have to do in order to protect yourself and protect others. And that's just the way it is. And they failed to do it. I don't know how they live with themselves if they were in that hallway for that long a period of time without taking action, knowing that there are many of those people probably bled to death while you're standing around. No, I mean, something's got to happen.